Hello, it's Strigabella here. I'm on my afternoon drive to pick up my children, and I had been catching up on some videos recently, and I came across what happened to Gabby with her grandson. Also, a friend sent me a link to a petition, and it's really a shocking issue that somebody could take a child away based on somebody's religious practice. It just seems completely unconstitutional to me. This country is so big on freedom of religion and freedom of speech, and that we all have the right to practice and do what we want, especially in the privacy of our own homes and such. So many things are acceptable. I recently heard a news thing. I don't know if I heard it on the internet or a TV, about somebody donating witchcraft books. I believe it happened somewhere in the middle of the country. Somebody donated witchcraft books because they were having a book drive at the school, and some people complained, and it actually ended up going to court, and the judge's decision was that if the school was going to accept books of a religious nature, that they had to accept all religions, including witchcraft. So no matter what the religious material, they would they could either decide to not accept anything religious at all, or if they chose to accept religious materials, it would have to include everything, which would mean including, if they donated satanic material, then they would have to accept that as well. So I believe the school opted out of accepting any religious material books related to that at all. But anyway, I can't believe that, our country has some of this stuff even happening, that somebody could take a child away from a family just because of something like that. And it goes both ways. I believe that they would have taken the child away even if it was extreme to the other extent. I've heard cases of children being taken away for extreme Christianity. Parents that spank because of biblical principles have been accused of abuse. I know that, certainly there are people of all religious practices that are abusive, as well as people that don't practice religion at all who are abusive. There's all kinds of people in all kinds of walks of life and all kinds of religions and all kinds of belief systems. So, I think it should be on an individual basis rather than to just group somebody and put them in a box and say, okay, everybody in that box is bad. I just don't think that's right. But I also was talking to someone recently about the issue of homeschooling. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Wife Swap, but one of the episodes I was watching was, this super education-oriented family versus this family who homeschooled their children, and they were very into encouraging their children to grow and to become whatever they would be. Basically just nurture the child's talents and interests, and whatever their interests are, those would be what the mother in this case would pursue teaching. So anyway, I was talking to somebody about that Wife Swap episode because the mother, who is for education, was saying that homeschooling was abusive, and that people that homeschool their children are denying them opportunity and denying them a proper education. I think certainly in some cases that's a possibility, but I don't think homeschooling in general, if it's done properly, is abusive. And, the person I was talking to was saying that now they're trying to make it extremely difficult for people who do choose to homeschool because, it's really frowned upon, especially, in the part of the country that I live in. I live in New England, and, we have a whole bunch of colleges around here, and everybody's very education-oriented. So, it tends to be frowned upon, the idea of homeschooling. But, and there's even talk about forcing parents who do want to homeschool that they will have to get a board certification similar to that teachers get. So I just think that's really interesting because, our country is supposed to be all about freedom and doing what you want, and I don't know, I just think it's kind of like we want it both ways. We want to have our freedom, but then we want to also at the same time dictate what people can say and do. But you can't have it both ways. I also yesterday, I was waiting for my husband at the post office, and there's a huge sign outside. Somebody was had a, what do you call those, a sandwich board that said impeach Obama, and they were giving out pamphlets and a whole bunch of reading materials, which I took, and I was interested to see what all these pamphlets and things said. And it said that these people were promoting to impeach Obama, and it was talking about all kinds of conspiracy theories and such about the droughts that are going on in California and Texas particularly, saying that these droughts are actually being done kind of on purpose. I didn't get to read the entire thing, but basically the idea was that, it's easy to, at any point they could have solved the drought. They had plenty of water to provide, I guess from Alaska, from the mountain, the melting of the mountains, the mountain water, and desalted water, when they take ocean water and they just remove the salt, and that they could have easily done this, and there wouldn't be this long drought situation that's going on, but that basically Obama, hand in hand with England, I think, is what they were trying to say, like Queen Elizabeth, that this is all a conspiracy, to do with money and power and all that kind of stuff. Basically, they're, causing people to suffer for world domination type of stuff. I don't know. I don't really know what to think about all this stuff. There's plenty of conspiracy theories out there, but I just think it's important to weigh all the information and make a wise decision as to what you believe and what you're teaching your families. So, I don't know, I just thought I would make a video. I haven't made one in a while, and I hope everyone's doing well. It's almost May 1st, for those of you who celebrate. It's hand in hand with my favorite time of the year, Samhain, and the veil is supposed to be thin, the two halves of the year. And I love this time of the year. This is kind of like the beginning of summer kickoff. And it's really cold here today, which kind of stinks. And the other issue I've been kind of dealing with, especially knowing that summer's approaching, last night I really had that urge to go outside like I used to be able to do at my old house. You know, any time of day or night, especially at night, I loved to do this, but I would go outside, especially during like a full moon or something, and just look up at the stars. And I had the cemetery behind me and I had woods next to me, and I really just felt that feeling when you're out in nature and you feel connected to the world. You feel the stars are above you, and especially in the winter when fresh snow would be on the ground and the moon would be full, and it was such a magical, wonderful feeling. And I don't have that where I am. It's very city-like, and when I go outside, there's neighbors' houses everywhere, people's windows that can see me, that I can see them, and I can hear them when they're playing music. I can hear their dogs barking, their leaf blowers, their lawnmowers, and I didn't have that before. So it's really gonna take a lot of getting used to not be able to. I mean, I could have gone outside naked at night and walk around my backyard, and it wouldn't make a difference back in my old house. But obviously I can't do that here. In fact, my neighbors every morning come outside in these really short bathrobes, and they lean over their porch smoking cigarettes, and it's really kind of gross and annoying. And I know I'm being really judgmental by saying that, but it's just not fun to look at a guy's legs and butt early in the morning, unless you have a strong stomach. But anyway, have a wonderful spring, guys.